Zoe thing.
Oh, look at this. Are people born good?
You know, I've
That's
I
a
think I might have seen
philosophical-
some of this one, but yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Philosophy time.
This is some philosophy. I have a
'Cause I
degree
love
in
more
this.
Two important,
I love this question.
indeed fundamental questions you have to answer in life.
Oh
The
shit!
first is,
Listen up, everybody. They're just
Is
two questions for life. Ready?
Let's
Here
go.
they are. This is it.
for God, specifically a moral and judging creator.
Okay.
Is there a moral
that
and
is
judging
Second
creator?
are people basically good?
Okay, you got
Okay.
the
Answer
question.
to the second
This is, I mean, what he's doing is he's taking, like, philosophical questions from, like, the 14th century and applying them to now.
I mean, they're good
They're
philosophical
fine
questions.
philosophical questions. I mean, like this is some Descartes stuff.
Yeah.
But okay.
The questions are good. The other question is, what will the answers be?
question
they'll be
will
bad.
shape just about all of your moral, social, and political views, even more than whether you believe in God. That's why a believer and an atheist who have the same views about human
That
nature
was confusing. Is there belief? Wait, whether or not is God? Wait, but the first question was:
there
is
a
God a
God?
judging moral God?
No, is there a God that is moral and
is
judging?
there a God? Is there a God, a moral and judging?
Is there a
Wait, there's
God,
probably
a
more.
moral
Oh,
and
moral
judging creator? All right.
Okay, a moral and judging creator. So whether or not you think if there's a God is even more important. Whether or not you believe if there's God. Didn't he just say that at the end?
The second
Yeah, we
is,
gotta
are people basically good? Your answer to the,
Oh,
second,
to the
question
second question.
will shape
Okay.
just about all of
So
your
now he's
moral,
zeroing in on the
social,
second
and political
question.
views, even more
Are people
than whether you believe in
basically
God.
good?
That's why a believer
so
and
he's
an
saying,
atheist
fuck
who have the
that
same
first
views about
question,
human nature
right?
Yeah.
almost always have the same social and political views. Let me give you some examples.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes
You've
sense. I
probably
agree
heard the
with this,
phrase,
Dennis.
poverty causes crime.
Yes.
If you believe that people are basically good, you are likely to believe that poverty or bigotry or some other outside force
Okay, now we're getting
causes
close,
people
though. Now
to
we're getting
commit
close.
violent
All
crime.
right. Slow down. Slow down.
Because it's not just about are people good. That's the thing about the word. Let's talk a little about the words good and bad for a moment, because these are the value judgments, and I think it's always important to remember that good and bad are not real things. You know, they're referring to they're representations of our value systems. So it's not about thinking, like, for me, I do think poverty causes crime.
Yes.
But not because I think that people are intrinsically good, but rather that I think people are, you know, generally or greatly shaped by their circumstances.
Right, and I think
and that people can be counted on to predictably and reliably react
Right.
in a specific way to certain circumstances, such as poverty.
yeah, the existence of poverty implies a lack of necessities, and how do we get those necessities? We commit crimes.
Right. In desperation, we commit crimes.
It's really just a basic human survival.
Right. Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't have much to do with them being inherently good or bad.
Yeah, people are
being
inherently good or bad. People are inherently hungry, thirsty, horny, and likey, housey.
I do think people are naturally inclined toward peace. I
Yeah,
think
I
as a
do, actually.
species, we naturally have an inclination towards socializing, and we have a natural inclination towards making things work.
Yes, indeed.
But I also
But it doesn't take much to turn us into buttholes.
absolutely
That's
not.
that's the problem.
It takes next to nothing. To
Just a
turn us
little
into
bit of
buttholes. Just a
suffering,
little
and
bit.
a little bit of desperation. Suddenly we're
Butthole.
eating babies. It's unfortunate. It's the human deal, though. But anyway, so this whole video is going to put a lot of emphasis on, like, good and bad, and I don't think he'll ever talk about the fact that these words are not really the best words for these kinds of conversations. He probably won't get into the nuance, but who knows? Maybe he'll surprise me.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Crime. That's the only way you can make sense of the fact that some people commit crimes despite their basically good nature. Something drove them to it.
Do you think people just commit crimes because nothing drove
Yeah,
them
because
to it?
they were just born with a
That
crime.
doesn't even make sense in what you're saying.
They're born with a crime in their heart. and they're like, I just have to get it out someday.
No, I just am feeling crimey today.
Yeah, and even if you raise them with love and support.
What are crimes? You're doing a thing.
Yes.
Something drives you to do a thing. We don't just do things out of
No, criminals.
thin air.
Criminals have no motives. Haven't you studied law?
There's never been a motive for anything. This is such a fucking blanket statement bullshit.
Okay.
But if you don't believe people are basically good, you're far more likely to blame the criminals themselves, not outside forces.
Blaming the criminals. You're a criminal. What is? Oh, that's their heads. They didn't really.
Thought that was
I
like
thought
a
they were
hand,
like, we hereby deem upon you the cracked egg of judgment. To jail with you, Eggman.
Not outside forces for their actions.
This is
One more
correct.
example. In a society where it is believed that people are basically good, parents and society don't devote great efforts toward making good people. After all, if we're born good...
What? So he's claiming that if our culture is the belief that people are generally good, people will be worse because we'll be like, they're good. I don't have to do anything.
It just contradicts itself.
I'm not even going to raise my kids. They're good. They're intrinsically good.
This is wild. All right, let's keep going. What's next?
Why do you have to teach goodness?
Yeah.
On the other
fuck
hand,
it.
those who don't believe we are born all that good understand that parents and society have to undertake major efforts to make children into good adults.
He wants us, I'm thinking he wants us to think that humans are inherently evil.
Well, yes.
Well, because that's what
Bible. That's like the conservative.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The
That's
original
what the Bible
sin.
says.
Yeah, that we get here and we're dirty sinners with a bunch of sin poop in our souls. And then we need churches and Dennis Pragers to tell us, hey, stop being evil, be good.
Then, are people basically good?
I don't know.
As I will show, given humanity's history, the answer should be obvious. Of course, human nature isn't basically good. Now, this doesn't mean that...
You got us. Of course.
And why? Why do you say that? Because men start wars?
Yeah, because exactly. So here he's gonna get into his nuance.
People are basically bad. We are born with real potential to do good, but we are not basically good. Take baby.
Wait, okay. I agree we're born with the potential to be quote unquote good or bad. We're born with the whole spectrum of potential.
I don't like his language here either. I don't like basically good.
Yeah, no, because it's like he's weaseling. He's trying to act like it's like, oh, I'm not saying they're basically evil, but they're definitely not basically good. And it's like, well, yeah, but that means kind of implicitly that they're basically evil. Mm-hmm. He's trying to have his cake and eat it too. Mm-hmm. The son of a bitch.
Babies are lovable and innocent, but they're not good. They're entirely self-centered, as they have.
I mean, listen.
Their brains aren't developed yet.
I hate kids. I really do. I'm sorry.
And I love kids.
I really hate kids. So this doesn't piss me off. I think they're the most self-centered human. I'm like someone else, please.
Well, children do tend to be more self-centered, but it's just weird.
I mean, that's how they develop. Right. I hate kids because I have mommy issues. But you know, this makes sense. Of course, kids are like self-centered.
Right.
And they don't know how to be alive.
And it's certainly good to socialize children, but I don't know, just like it seems very accusatory. The baby surrounded by arrows. It says to me, it's like, you fucking baby, you're so self-centered.
You evil baby.
It's like, yeah, it's a fucking baby. It doesn't even know where it is. It doesn't even develop object permanence yet. It doesn't like know what a pumpkin is. It's like, how can it not be self-centered? It's like, and then to look at this like little dumb animal and be like, you so
not inherently good.
You're basically a jerk until I get through with you. Okay.
To be in order to survive. I want mommy. I want milk. I want to be held. I want to be comforted. And if you do not do all these things immediately, I will ruin your life.
Dennis Prager, I don't think babies are as malicious as you're making them out to be. Wait,
that's not goodness. That's narcissism.
He's calling babies narcissists. We were talking about this recently. I mean, like, narcissism is definitely a thing. I tend to think of it more like in the sort of traditional, like, casual sense of like just someone who's like loves to look at themselves in a mirror or something, you know. But now the whole like the actual condition or whatever you want to call it, narcissistic personality, NPD, right? Has been getting so like people love to talk about NPD so fucking much.
I was just talking about this the other day. People are given these vocab words and then they just start pathologizing everyone.
Right. Like,
and I'm like,
there are all these like forums on the internet where people are just like, I don't know how I ended up on a mailing list for some fucking question thread on some like on Quora or something, and so then I get these auto sent emails of like all these people's questions on this forum, and they're always just like asking about narcissists and also asking about all the people in their lives of like, is my garbage man a narcissist because he didn't take the garbage? You know, it's like. They're obsessed, and now I'm at the point where like just if someone's like, oh, I bet they're a narcissist. Oh, I'm just like, are you a narcissist?
Everybody chalks a lot of stuff up to narcissism and gaslighting.
It feels like a lot of
gaslighting is a big one.
Yes, and there is a lot of horrible gaslighting happening.
I've gaslit people. It's happened to me.
Yeah,
I've done it.
I've been in an abusive relationship where I was thoroughly gaslit.
But I think if someone.
But people take the terms and run with them.
They
when
really
they don't
go
really know
for
what
a sprint.
they mean.
Yeah.
They don't really study them. Look, they just hear like narcissist and they think it means like bad person.
Yeah.
And they're like, I knew it. I knew there was a name for all those people who make me mad.
Narcissists.
Narcissists. They're all narcissists. I figured it out. Anyway, and also, but back to this. Babies aren't narcissists. Babies are stupid little beasts who don't know how to do anything.
Narcissism requires a little bit of self-awareness.
Yeah. He's literally accusing the baby of having a scheme. That it's like you better give me the food and the
that
milk.
Manipulative little
or
shit.
else I'll ruin your life. He says, or else I'll ruin your life. Like the baby has a plan and isn't just like feeling instincts and then just going like, ah, and making noises. Just interpreting their emotions into noise. In Dennis's world, it's like, I won't fall for your narcissistic manipulation, you baby.
I think he hates babies as much as I do.
All right, maybe you two are meant to be together.
Wait, are we gonna kiss?
Are Zoe and Dennis Prager gonna kiss?
Are we gonna kiss?
We are born narcissists,
No!
preoccupied with number one, ourselves.
Oh.
And if you've ever worked with kids, you know how cruel, how bullying they can be.
Yes.
Like
kids. But I don't agree with this.
Kids can be bullying, but if you're not aware, bullies are the minority.
Yeah.
Like, if you go to a school, it's not like an army of bullies and like 3 nerds just running, hiding all day. Like, oh God, we're the only ones whose parents taught us to be good. Like, bullies are you know, it's usually like what, like 1 out of every 100 kids, maybe. Is like a true you know, the kid who turns his baseball cap backwards and points at you on the ground when you're just trying to take a nap, and then you wake up to this boy pointing and laughing. So yeah, bullies. You can't just say like bullies exist, so all children are narcissists.
Yeah, this is...
It does not follow. Anyway.
Terrible logic.
Let's keep
And
going.
don't parents have to tell their child tens of thousands of times, say thank you? Now, why is that?
Because... Okay. Because
Are you asking why babies don't spontaneously start saying thank you to everyone?
Also, it's a very, like, weird thing to conflate saying thank you at everything with like actual expressions of gratitude. Yeah. Like you we're taught to say thank you for fucking everything all the time. Thank you, and it becomes meaningless.
Truly.
I go to a restaurant and I say thank you to the waitress so many times. I feel like she thinks I have a crush on her.
Exactly. No, I have that issue too. It's like the people pleasing. It's like I'm like, yeah, I say thank you probably too much.
and so yeah, tell your kids to say thank you a
grateful
little less.
Person, but like if we're look at this, the next line. If we're naturally good, wouldn't feeling and expressing gratitude come naturally?
It does.
I mean, it does to an extent, but not saying thank you, because those are specific words in a specific language and a specific culture.
Yeah.
Like a kid might say thank you through some, motion, or like,
Right.
pat you on the shoulder if they don't have language. But this is so goofy. What have you done?
We've ruined it.
Oh, you turned off the audio.
I was so tired of hearing his stupid fucking.
Oh, don't you made it. You're falling in love.
Feeling and expressing gratitude come naturally.
No.
And then there is the historical record. Evils, huge evils affecting much of
That's
the
the
human
biggest
race
evil I've ever seen.
What
have
are the
been
huge
the
evils?
norm.
Wait.
Here goes just a few examples.
Yeah, what are a few examples?
The Ottoman Turks targeted millions of Armenian Christians for death during World War I. The German Nazi regime murdered 6 million Jews, 2 out of every 3 European Jews.
But so he's listing off historical atrocities
Yeah.
to prove that people are intrinsically bad.
Yeah.
Except they're not. He's not saying that, he says.
Yeah.
Except he is saying
That's
that.
exactly what he's saying.
And this is so goofy, like, because to frame it like this, sure, you can say, oh, look, there was a Holocaust and there are genocides and all these horrible things throughout history, but that doesn't mean they're the norm.
No.
I mean, they're normal from a historical perspective. It's definitely not exactly weird for a genocide to happen in terms of human history, but normal, like the Hitler and the other guys who made up the Third Reich, like it was like a handful of guys.
He's basically saying he's basically saying the everyman is what caused historical atrocities.
Right, you can't cite history's greatest monsters and then indict every human.
Yeah.
Including more than 1 million children and babies. The Soviet communist regime slaughtered about 5 million Ukrainians and about 25 million other innocents. The Chinese communists killed about 70 million Chinese and enslaved the rest of the Chinese people.
But he won't
The
mention
North
how many
Korean-
people America
The
has
sounds
killed.
of bombs in the background
Yeah.
is really ridiculous.
Yeah, bring back that fun music from the Civil War.
The communist regime has built what one can only call the world's largest
He's
concentration
mentioned
camp,
communism.
most of North Korea.
Yeah,
At
and
least
hasn't
In
twice.
post-colonial
Hasn't
Congo,
mentioned,
in the decade
America's
between
death toll
1998 and 2008, over
No,
5
because, in America, we teach our kids to be good.
And well, and also in
million
America,
people
when we kill
were
people,
murdered.
it's good.
And-
We kill people for freedom.
Yeah, we kill people for
We
freedom.
kill people for democracy. So you can. I've had this conversation with so many
Yeah.
conservative people who are like super. I love you guys. I want you to all. I want y'all to have nice lives and just stop believing right wing stuff. But yeah, I've had this conversation so many times where they bring up all these death tolls, and they just don't deal with the death toll of America and capitalism, and like starvation every year and wars for resources. None of it. They're just like, well, that just was par for the course. That's just America flavor.
Yeah. Someone found a video in Germany. Do you know those like Sarah McLachlan videos where they're like, for just $1 a day, you can sponsor this sad
Of course,
baby in Africa?
all I do is sponsor sad babies in Africa.
So in Germany, they have one that's like, for just €1 a day, you can sponsor
Right.
a baby in America.
Yeah.
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 They have that for us because we have a poverty problem.
Yes, a very horrible poverty problem. All right.
and tens, if not hundreds of thousands of women raped. Of course, before that, about 10 million Africans were kidnapped and made slaves in the European slave trade.
Hey, actually,
And another
yeah.
10 to
European
18 million
slave trade.
Africans were enslaved by Arab slave traders. And let me ask you this.
The Arabs
But
did
wait,
it.
the Arabs did more.
Oh, Dennis can't pass up a chance to hate Arabs.
If people are basically good, why does every civilization have so many laws to control human behavior? Knowing all this, those who believe that people are basic...
To answer that question, because the circumstances are unjust and inequitable, and it pushes people to desperation, and then instead of healing the core issues, the root issues behind these problems, we just
make more laws.
we just give some guys guns and bats and say, go just beat the shit out of whoever doesn't like how horrible it all is.
Yep.
So doesn't answer your question, Dennis. Hope you learned something.
Basically good have simply made a decision to believe that and ignore all the evidence.
Wait, no.
What's the evidence?
That.
Okay.
And
I want to hear this statement again.
knowing all this, those who believe that people are basically good have simply made a decision to believe that.
Yeah, see, we just made a decision to believe. And, like, again, to be clear, we don't believe people are intrinsically good.
No.
Just that every person can be a totally good, happy, functioning, constructive member of society.
I don't completely disagree with like the tabula rasa concept, just blank slate.
Yeah. To some, I mean, I do think there's a little bit of nature in there.
There's
I don't think it's
nuance to be
pure
had.
nurture, but yeah, I do think it's mostly nurture.
Yeah.
Nurture is the dominant factor.
Yeah.
And ignore all the evidence. Why do
So
people
much
commit
evidence we
evil?
ignore.
Because it's easy to, because it's tempting to, and
It's tempting to, Dennis.
Wait, are we
Dennis,
gonna kiss?
don't self-report, Dennis.
Are you feeling tempted to
Dennis,
commit evil?
are you just walking around all day like evil? Oh, evil! I could
No, what
do
I'm
evil.
hearing is
it's
he-
so tempting, but the police, the laws. If only there weren't these laws, I could do evil. Like it's just such a trend in conservative perspectives that like they reveal that they just have all these weird urges and desires and now I'm like, what are you doing in private, Dennis? This is
Conservatives would
scary.
be so much fun at parties if they just stopped.
You mean to stop being conservative?
Yeah, they all have these like crazy temptations. Now I'm not talking about, pedophiles.
It's like,
But-
Dennis, whatever it is you want to put in your butt, just put it there. Stop
Just
torturing
put
the
it
world.
there.
Stop torturing the world.
Get a grinder and go.
Or wherever you want to put your wiener, just put it there, Dennis. Just leave us alone. Stop with this. This is all just because you're not like just. I mean, as long as you don't want to put your. See, I'm afraid he wants to put his wiener somewhere weird and bad.
Yeah,
Don't do that,
I don't want
Dennis.
him to do that.
But presuming it's somewhere okay,
If you can find someone who will consent to you putting your wiener anywhere you want,
anywhere near them,
find them.
find them and do the wiener thing,
Do the
Dennis,
wiener thing.
or whatever it is. Just not this. This
This
is
is
compensating
weird.
for
Yeah,
something.
You're tempted, and I'm
Whatever's
seeing it.
tempting you, it's bad. It's probably bad though. I don't want to tell him to do it because it's gonna be bad.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Dennis-
Never mind, Dennis. Sit down and shut up.
Just sit down in your nice chair by the fireplace and just don't move or talk. There's my advice.
yes, because it often accords with human nature. That is why figuring out how to make good people is the single most important project in all of human life.
Holy
But first,
fuck.
you have to believe it's necessary.
Yep.
I'm Dennis Prager. Join Prager University.
Okay, Dennis. So yes, a certain degree of socializing is necessary for a society to function. This
Yes.
is absolutely true. But beyond that, a bunch of fucking dumb nonsense. Again. But yeah, it's like that's always going to be the conclusion with the
It's just
PragerU
dumb
video.
nonsense.
Yeah.
It's he's talking about these nuanced philosophical concepts
Mm-hmm.
with absolute certainty.
Yeah.
And this is ridiculous because these are things that people have been debating for millennia, centuries.
Totally.
And for you to be like, I have the answer.
Yeah.
That's insane. It
Yeah.
makes you look so stupid.
Yep,
This is why I
exactly.
like that. Nice, Dale.
Yes, Darlshard says this is why leftists have never had any interest in childhood care or education.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, leftists hate education.
Well, because education is simply indoctrination. That's all it is. We're just here to indoctrinate. Not Dennis Prager. He's not indoctrinating anyone with his finite answers to gripping philosophical debates.
Oh, no, he would never.
No. He's not indoctrinating
He would-
anyone.
He would never drench the internet with sledgehammer philosophy.
No.